What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another Saturday Conundrum. I'm Brian, one of the co-hosts of the Daily AI Show, and today we're talking all about your taste. Well, not your sense of taste per se, but like your taste in clothes, your taste in food, your taste in really anything that sort of makes you uniquely you. But we're rapidly approaching a time where AI plays a bigger and bigger role in terms of what you define as your taste. We already see this obviously with things like algorithms and Netflix that suggest shows to us, and maybe gently over time it ends up giving us a watch feed or your favorite shows that we didn't necessarily pick out of free will, but that were shown to us because they were like other things we liked, or the algorithm thought we might like it. So it brings up this kind of interesting conversation about what does this future look like? So let me set this up for you. Taste feels like freedom. People try things, love some, reject others, and over time believe they know themselves a little better. This process shapes identity. You choose the music that calms you, the books that challenge you, and the food that feels like home. But today, AI systems predict your preferences before you do. From playlists to shopping to what recipes show up in your feed, models analyze your mood, your schedule, your past choices, and even your tone of voice to suggest what fits, quote, you. At first, this feels like relief. No more standing in the cereal aisle, unsure what to buy. But over time, choosing from a list of what feels just right may not feel like choosing at all. You still click, swipe, and approve, but the system shaped the options. If your favorite keeps arriving effortlessly, are you expressing yourself or accepting a version of yourself that was quietly built for you? Some will argue this saves people from decision fatigue and lets them focus on what matters. Others wonder if taste itself, once a sign of personality, becomes a polished reflection of the system's design. And here's the conundrum. If AI shapes your choices until everything feels right, are you discovering your true self or slowly trading free will for comfort that feels like freedom? So, as always with our Saturday Conundrums, instead of it being a live session with several of our lovely co-hosts debating and talking about this topic, in this particular case, you are going to hear two AI co-hosts who are going to debate this topic for you. And the way we do that, I explain this every Saturday, but very quickly. I work to get the conundrum to this point, what you just heard, basically using usually ChatGPT, and then I use Perplexity Pro and their deep research to debate both sides of it without necessarily trying to solve the problem. I don't want to do that. I just want to debate both sides of it. And then what we do is we take that, I put it into Notebook LM, and then we ultimately, after getting a lot of research, we'll get the sort of podcast version of this. And so what you're hearing basically are the two AI co-hosts, and they're going off the information that came out of Perplexity and so on and so forth. And it's what you're basically about to hear. I always find this really interesting. It always makes me chuckle a little bit when AI is talking about itself and saying how we need to be careful with the future of AI, as in fact, the joke here is that you're listening to AI talk about that. So I hope you enjoy this Saturday's edition. This one's called the Algorithmic Taste Conundrum. Enjoy.
Your taste. It feels like pure freedom, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's how you discover what brings you joy, what calms your mind, what challenges your perspective, what just feels like home. It shapes who you are.
Absolutely.
But what happens when powerful AI systems begin to predict your preferences, maybe even before you consciously know them yourself?
That's the key question, isn't it?
Yeah, from your next binge watch to your shopping cart,
Mm-hmm.
these models are analyzing everything. Your past choices, your mood, your schedule, even like the subtle tones in your voice.
All of it.
All to suggest what perfectly fits you. At first, it might feel like an absolute relief.
Mm-hmm.
No more endless scrolling, no more decision fatigue.
Right. Seems helpful.
But here's the core conundrum we're diving into today.
Mm-hmm.
If AI meticulously tailors your choices until everything feels perfectly aligned, are you truly discovering your authentic self?
Yeah.
Or are you gradually trading your innate free will for a comfort that only feels like genuine freedom?
It's a profound question. What's truly fascinating, I think, is how these artificial intelligence recommenders function as these really sophisticated filters.
Mm-hmm.
They sift through the overwhelming torrent of choices we encounter daily.
There are so many.
Exactly. And proponents describe this as a kind of cognitive prosthesis, a mental extension that liberates our attention for what they argue are higher, more meaningful pursuits.
Okay, like outsourcing the boring stuff.
Sort of. Yet critics present a stark counter-argument. that this very process, subtly, almost invisibly, rewires how we form preferences,
Ah,
potentially hollowing out the very essence of the freedom that taste has historically embodied.
so the freedom itself gets eroded.
That's the fear. Our mission in this deep dive is to explore the most compelling, research-grounded arguments from both sides of this debate without taking a stance or seeking an easy resolution.
Right. No easy answers here.
No. Empowering you, the listener, to weigh which vision of algorithmic taste resonates most strongly with you.
Okay, so let's unpack the first major argument.
Yeah.
This idea that personalization, far from limiting us, can actually be a powerful form of liberation.
Mm-hmm.
The central claim here seems to be that AI acts as a shield against the modern burden of, well, decision fatigue.
Absolutely. Think about someone like, let's call her Sarah, a busy working mother.
Okay?
After finally getting her kids to bed, she might have, precious 30 minutes to unwind with Netflix?
If she's lucky.
Right. The absolute last thing she wants is to spend half that time endlessly scrolling, just paralyzed by choice.
Been there?
We all have. This is where the algorithm steps in, presenting her with a few perfectly curated options based on her viewing history, perhaps even factoring in her detected mood or the time of day.
Make it easy.
Exactly. Advocates firmly believe this conserves valuable mental resources, and there's data to back it up. Studies on decision fatigue consistently show that when machine learning configurators narrow down option sets, conversion rates significantly rise. And people report choices feeling subjectively much easier. You see this in education, too. Adaptive learning pathways, for example. They trim extraneous cognitive load,
Right.
allowing students to focus on genuinely difficult material and actually accelerate their learning.
That makes a lot of sense, the idea of reclaiming mental bandwidth. But for someone maybe deeply engaged in tech, the question might be, how deep does this efficiency go? Is it just about convenience, or does it fundamentally change our capacity for discovery?
Well, I think it goes beyond mere convenience. As one expert aptly put it, algorithms are like having a brilliant personal assistant who literally never gets tired.
I wish.
Right? They can process thousands of variables, your past purchases, the weather outside, your calendar, reviews from millions of similar users, and synthesize them into a curated set of options.
Right.
The deeper insight here isn't just that it limits choice in a bad way, but that it makes the act of choosing meaningful again by removing all the noise.
So better choices, not just fewer.
Potentially, yes. A compelling 2024 study even found that AI-powered recommendation systems reduced the time consumers spent searching by an average of 23 minutes per day.
23 minutes? That's huge.
It is. While simultaneously boosting their satisfaction with their eventual choices, that's a significant chunk of time returned to you, the consumer, for more impactful activity.
23 minutes a day, that's considerable.
All right.
Okay, beyond just saving time, there's also the claim that these systems can actually expand our cultural horizons.
Right.
This seems to directly contradict the common filter bubble concern we always hear about. How does that work?
This brings us to a crucial nuance, doesn't it? Does AI truly confine or expand our cultural horizons? It's not as simple as a yes or no.
Okay.
You see, serendipity-oriented algorithms are specifically designed to inject novelty while crucially maintaining relevance.
Ah, so it's not just random stuff.
No, exactly. They expose users to items they genuinely wouldn't have discovered on their own. Streaming platforms, for instance, report that the majority of their viewing hours actually stem from these recommender-driven discoveries.
Wow, really? Majority?
Yeah, not from direct searches for, the latest blockbuster. Think of Spotify's Discover Weekly playlist. It's become famous for introducing millions to artists they'd never encounter through traditional radio or word of mouth.
I use that all the time.
Many people do. The deeper insight is how they employ strategies like exploration exploitation, where they intentionally push you slightly outside your comfort zone.
Okay.
Perhaps recommending something from a genre you've only briefly touched on to truly foster genuine discovery, not just predictable hits.
So it's nudging, not just reflecting.
Precisely. Calculated nudging for discovery.
And this leads to an even broader and, frankly, quite revolutionary point. The democratization of taste. Before these systems, human gatekeepers, radio DJs, record executives, film critics, they held immense power over what millions heard or saw.
Oh, indeed. What's fascinating is how algorithms lower the entry barriers that once strictly gate-kept culture. They do it by efficiently matching niche creators with micro-audiences.
Right, connecting the long tail.
Exactly that. A traditional folk singer from the Mongolian steppe can now build a dedicated following among world music enthusiasts in Seattle.
Amazing.
Or a bedroom pop artist creating music from their parents' basement can reach listeners craving their precise sound globally. The data is striking. We're witnessing people exposed to a far greater diversity of content, more international creators, and a wider array of niche genres than at any point in human history.
So it breaks down geographic and social barriers.
In many ways, yes. The algorithm, in this sense, doesn't care about your social class, your geographic location, or who you know in the right circles. It simply cares about patterns that might predict what you will enjoy.
Making it a powerful force for cultural
A
access.
very powerful force.
It sounds incredibly empowering. But does this democratization also come with its own complexities, like an overwhelming volume of content, or perhaps a dilution of what was once considered curated quality?
That's a valid question, and certainly one that critics raise quite often.
Right.
But from the liberation perspective, these systems also foster a heightened sense of satisfaction and feeling truly known.
That feeling of it gets me.
Exactly. Surveys across retail and media consistently show that accurate recommendations boost dwell time, increase basket size, and strengthen repeat purchase intent.
Makes sense for business.
Absolutely. One ESW's Global Voices poll, for example, found that 64% of shoppers spend more with brands they perceive as authentically personalized.
64%.
Yeah, essentially rewarding companies that demonstrate they know them. And there's also the concept of dynamic adaptation to context.
What does that mean?
Well, real-time signals, your location, maybe health data, your calendar commitments, allow systems to anticipate needs before you even articulate them.
Like magic.
Kind of, like suggesting a calorie-dense meal after an intense workout logged on your fitness tracker. This delivers what feels like ambient intelligence, even in work settings, cutting down on repetitive micro-decisions and freeing professionals to focus on higher-level strategy.
That's a compelling vision of what algorithms can offer.
Yeah.
Really compelling. But now let's pivot to the other side.
The counter-argument.
Yes. If algorithms choreograph our choices so effectively, what does this mean for our free will and our authentic self? What's the potential cost here?
This is where we connect to a much bigger philosophical picture. It gets quite deep.
Mm-hmm.
Philosophers deeply embedded in this debate argue that when an agent's volitional states their fundamental desires, their very will, are engineered.
Engineered?
Yeah, whether by something as direct as brain surgery or as subtle as predictive targeting, then responsibility and freedom are fundamentally undermined.
Wow. Okay.
Consider the story of Zoe, a teenager who constantly discovers new music through TikTok and Spotify.
Like most teens.
Right. Her mother, who happens to be a philosopher of technology, observes that Zoe increasingly struggles to articulate why she likes what she likes, often defaulting to, the algorithm just knows me.
Huh.
This represents a profound, almost unsettling shift. Are our preferences being revealed to us through these systems, or are they in fact being developed for us, shaped and molded by external forces?
So the problem isn't that algorithms make bad recommendations,
Not necessarily, no.
but rather that they make them too well, that their very efficiency might be counterproductive to, like, self-discovery.
Precisely. That's the core of the concern for many critics. They create what some philosophers term algorithmic scaffolding around our decision-making.
Scaffolding. Okay.
Over time, we become so reliant on this scaffolding that we risk losing the capacity to make truly authentic choices independently.
Like a muscle atrophying.
That's a good analogy. Studies reveal a growing confusion between algorithmic optimization and authentic preference. People express sentiments like, I'm not sure if I really like this show, or if Netflix just thinks I should like it.
I've definitely felt that.
It signals a real discomfort, doesn't it? Even a fear of choosing without that algorithmic validation. The insight here is that while the scaffolding supports us, it might also prevent us from ever learning to walk entirely on our own.
That immediately makes me think of the filter bubble concern again, but maybe applied differently to our personal taste rather than just news or information. Is there a more nuanced way to look at that?
You're right to connect it there. It's related. While algorithms do introduce variety, they do so within carefully calculated parameters.
Right, the calculated part.
Exactly. Your personalized playlist might feel adventurous, but it's still bounded by what the algorithm determines you're likely to enjoy based on vast amounts of data about users similar to you.
Okay.
Some researchers label this managed serendipity. It provides the feeling of discovery
The feeling.
without the true risk of genuine surprise, which often involves a degree of discomfort or stepping far outside one's established comfort zone.
Real discovery can be uncomfortable.
It often is. This leads to what they call diversified homogeneity.
Okay, break that down.
It means the appearance of choice, a variety, but within fundamentally similar parameters. If everyone's personalized experience is generated by similar algorithms optimizing for similar outcomes,
Like engagement.
exactly, then you ultimately end up with a pseudo-diversity, a narrow breadth within a very specific, algorithmically defined lane.
And it all seems to tie back to the algorithm's fundamental purpose, which, let's be honest, might not primarily be our personal growth or self-discovery.
Precisely. That's a critical point. These systems analyze massive data sets to predict your next consumption, yes, but this process is anything but neutral.
Right.
It's deeply value-laden, optimized for specific outcomes, primarily engagement, retention, and ultimately revenue.
The bottom line.
Usually, yes. So, your personalized recommendations aren't neutral discoveries. They are strategic interventions designed to keep you on the platform, to maximize your interaction time you're spending.
Strategic interventions.
Yeah.
That sounds a bit manipulative.
Well, as one sociologist bluntly noted, the algorithm doesn't know you. It knows how to influence you.
Oof.
And it's maybe no accident that Merriam-Webster's 2023 word of the year was authentic,
Ah, interesting connection.
reflecting, perhaps, a widespread cultural backlash against perceived algorithmic inauthenticity, with studies showing 64% of consumers reportedly ready to switch brands they view as manipulative.
So people are feeling this tension.
It seems so.
This sounds like it could have a real psychological toll, too.
Yeah.
What are some of the maybe less obvious consequences of this constant algorithmic influence on our minds?
This raises an important question about things like algorithmic fatigue and also psychological reactance.
Reactants.
Yeah, basically pushing back.
Oh.
Studies indicate that individuals who actively seek the absolute optimal choice, people often called maximizers in psychology.
A perfectionist.
Kind of, yeah.
Ah.
They exhibit...
Like choosing music or fashion.
Exactly. We're even seeing instances of algorithmic resistance among adolescents on short video apps.
How does that look?
Well, ranging from deliberate random scrolling just to mess with the feed to outright platform boycotts as users actively try to reclaim a sense of agency.
Fighting the machine.
In a way. And a heavy reliance on algorithms can also lead to higher levels of decision anxiety when people are eventually forced to choose without technological assistance.
The scaffolding is gone.
Right. Feeling paralyzed by options that previous generations navigated through personal reflection or simple trial and error. Some critical phenomenology work even portrays algorithms not as these hidden black boxes, but as forces that actively choreograph our temporal rhythms.
Our sense of time.
Yeah, producing sensations of instantaneity and ephemerality that users experience as externally imposed, likened by some thinkers to vampire objects.
Vampire objects.
Yeah.
That's quite a strong image. What exactly are these systems feeding on, and what does that imply for our energy and focus?
That's a great question. The idea of vampire objects suggests that algorithms aren't just passively offering choices, they're actively consuming our most precious, finite resources. Our time, our cognitive load, our attention.
Wow.
They choreograph our clicks, our scrolls, our viewing patterns, creating this constant demand loop. It implies a more, maybe insidious form of control than just simple recommendations.
More than just suggestions.
Yes. A subtle extraction of our vital, mental, and temporal energy, making us feel perhaps as though our very engagement is being siphoned off for the algorithm's benefit, rather than serving our own freely chosen goals.
Okay. So as you, the listener, weigh these two powerful perspectives, what stands out most to you in this really complex debate? It seems both sides, at their core, share a common desire. They want people to flourish.
That seems right.
They just profoundly disagree about whether algorithmic assistance ultimately helps or hinders human flourishing in the long run.
Exactly. The personalization as liberation, Voice asks. Why should people endure decision fatigue? Why should they have limited cultural exposure when technology offers such powerful tools to help them discover what they genuinely love and thrive on?
Makes sense.
But the erosion of autonomy, Voice counters. Without the struggle of choice, without the inherent risk of making mistakes, without the genuine, messy uncertainty of true discovery, can we really call what emerges taste at all?
Is it still your taste?
That's the question. As one philosopher profoundly argues, Taste-making is a form of self-creation.
Mm,
When we grapple with choices, when we stumble and make mistakes, when we genuinely discover something that surprises and even discomforts us, we're not just finding things we like, we're actively becoming who we are.
that's powerful.
It is. Algorithmic assistance, while feeling like liberation, might in fact be outsourcing one of the most fundamentally human activities. The difficult, often messy, yet absolutely essential work of figuring out who we truly want to be.
This isn't a debate that can be resolved through better data or even more sophisticated algorithms, is it?
I don't think so.
It feels like a fundamental philosophical disagreement about human nature, the very role of technology in our lives, and what truly constitutes an authentic, meaningful existence.
It really cuts that deep.
As algorithms become increasingly sophisticated and intricately woven into the fabric of our daily lives, these questions will only become more pressing. The future of human taste, and perhaps even human agency itself, might just hang in the balance of how we collectively choose to answer them.
A lot to think about.
Definitely. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the algorithmic taste conundrum. We hope this conversation gives you plenty to mull over and encourages you to critically explore your own relationship with the algorithms that shape your world.